32 plants. What it looks like. Not a bad haul for winter. Hello, welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. I have another one of our pumpkins all roasted and pureed, and the plan is to freeze dry it. So tomorrow morning is going to be the coldest morning that we have seen yet this winter. Thankfully it's nice and sunny out right now, and so things that the sun is hitting presently, like our water troughs and our greenhouse, are warming up nicely, so maybe the impacts won't be so great tomorrow morning. We have not seen the sun much this entire winter, so it's something I'm really grateful to see. It's also shining in this big window that's in my shed, and this space is only heated with a space heater. And I know that's going to make some people nervous, but we put in a special outlet. That is the only thing that is plugged into the outlet, and it does pretty well, but the freeze dryer actually does a better job heating up this space. I don't think a lot of people talk about how much heat these can pump out, but they really can. And so because it's supposed to be so cold tonight, I figured the space heater and the freeze dryer can work together to keep this space warm. We like to keep it climate controlled. We've got a lot of food storage in here, and plus I have my key lime that's sitting over there. That guy is absolutely frost tender, so we want to keep that guy from freezing. So let's put some pumpkin away. Key lime tree. We did harvest some key limes off of this tree probably 2 months ago. I stuck them in the freezer because I couldn't think of something to make with them right off, but there are a couple more that are ready. See, they're kind of yellow. Really, there's 2 key lime trees right here. Little key lime bush is what they were called. And this one over here is the only one that really fruited this year. See, this one wasn't falling off, so I'm not gonna force it. But back here, couple of them. These guys do have thorns. Can be kind of rough. See that? Oh, so incredible. So in my sourdough book, I know that I have a recipe that only uses a few key limes. It is a discard recipe. Sourdough key lime ricotta cookies. Now I do not have ricotta cheese, but I do have some Clabber cheese that I pulled out of the freezer a little while ago. I intended to use it for something else, but it didn't get used up. We can use it with this though. Hey, and I just so happen to have a dirty bowl. We'll rinse this out and get it dirty again. All right, so what we need is 8 tablespoons unsalted butter. What I have here, I do have some salted butter. I'm gonna be okay with that. This is not 8 tablespoons worth, but I've got a little bit of lard here that will make up the difference. 1 cup of sugar, 1 large egg, ½ cup of leftover starter. This is starter that isn't bubbly and active. 1 cup of the ricotta. Again, I'm using some Clabber. Zest of 1 lime or several key limes. 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and ½ a teaspoon of sea salt. I have pink Himalayan here. It smells really good already. So the instructions say to cover with plastic wrap. I'm just gonna put it in this bag and then chill for 30 minutes to an hour, and that just so happens to be about as much time as it takes to milk my goats, so I will be right back. All right, I think it's been a little bit more than an hour, but that's fine. I got distracted down in the barn taking pictures of goat udders because that's where we are right now. But the dough is well chilled, and I have this cute little cookie scoop that my sister-in-law gave me. It says to scoop them out into about tablespoon size balls and put them on the cookie sheet. This recipe doesn't expressly say how far apart to space them. Because it does have baking powder in the recipe, I am going to allow a couple inches in between just in case they do spread out. This may not matter, but I'm deciding to just pick them up and make the ball a little bit more even instead of having some like kind of jagged edges. I don't want those to get too crispy, you know. I'm definitely gonna have to do these in batches. I think it says it makes 4 dozen, which I would say is accurate. So these are going to go in the 350-degree oven for 17 minutes for my oven. Recipe says 15 to 17. While those are baking, we can work on the glaze. I still have my little lemons here, my limes, my key limes. Oops. I thought I cut that in the correct direction, but I did not. It'll probably still juice. There, that's the direction that I intended. I did run out of powdered sugar earlier, and I heard that you could put regular sugar through your food processor to make powdered sugar. I've never done it before. Next time I go to make it, I probably will use my high-powered spice grinder because I know that that will absolutely powderize the sugar. I think what I have here is in between regular sugar and powdered sugar. There's a name for that, but I forget what it is. We're gonna use it anyway. This is what I got out of 3 key limes. I'm gonna go slowly because I'm looking for a glaze kind of consistency, whatever I can get out of my homemade powdered sugar here. It's definitely not quite the consistency that I was after, but I think it'll still be good. I know it tastes good. Surprisingly less tangy than I anticipated. So these are fluffy. They get a toasty bottom on them, a nice little golden edge, but they're good and bready, kind of like a cake. I really like chewy cookies. See that? The lime flavor is actually very, very subtle, but because of that, it's very nice. It goes really well with the dairy that's in here. You know the flavor of those, I think they're like Christmas cookies. They're hard cookies, but they have that like lemon powdered sugar on the outside. These taste like that, but just a titch less citrusy. However, they don't have the glaze yet. There we go. Now, I didn't save any of the zest to sprinkle on top, so they're a little bit plain looking. But it's really, really tasty. The glaze definitely brings it all together. It would be better if my powdered sugar wasn't a little bit gritty, but next time. Good morning. So we've got a seedling project to work on today. My little seedlings that I have in these 16 cell trays are very well developed and they're ready to stretch out their roots into something bigger. But before we get to this, I have gotten such great feedback from you guys. Those of you that have ordered the Backwoods Home or Self-Reliance magazines. A lot of times with homesteads, you need to be thinking about the season ahead. That is absolutely true. For me, in the past, sometimes I have thought so far into the future that I have neglected to think about the present. And this magazine has actually helped me remember some of the things that I need to do in my winter garden to prepare it for springtime. If you are brand new to gardening, sometimes these things are not just second nature. And really, if you can get ahead in the garden in the winter time, you're gonna thank yourself come springtime. This last garden season, I didn't do any of these things, and when it came to the stress of the kidding season and trying to stay ahead of weeds and things and plant out the spring garden, I was really kicking myself for not doing some of these things. So there's a whole big article in here about how to fertilize and mulch, protect your plant, sort your saved seeds, which is something I have started to do finally. Order more seeds if you forgot to do that. To condition and repair your tools, destroy blighted plant remains, and tips and tricks to do all of those things successfully and efficiently. The thing that I really love most about these magazines is the fact that this information is not going to disappear. I've actually started to collect and print out recipes that I used to just leave online. Just the other day, someone asked me for the crusty bread recipe that I like to bake, and it took me a long time to find it again. Search engine optimization can change. Websites are updated and they don't exactly look the same, and it can be hard to really hang on to the things that you know and love when they're only on the internet. This kind of thing is not going to be deleted or changed, and I really like to be able to hold it in my hand. There's this woodworking project, like a how-to on a loom, like for making mats and things. See it right here? Isn't that so cool? There's directions on how to make the loom and then on how to make a rug out of scraps. I've had a lot of people tell me that I should be using our baling twine to make things like rugs, and Levi could probably whip that loom together in no time, and I could get to making things like that in the wintertime when I have a lot less going on. So again, this is one of those instances where I find things that I didn't even know that I wanted to know, and this is information that isn't gonna disappear, like sometimes happens on the internet. I highly suggest that homesteaders and aspiring homesteaders alike, if you have not checked these magazines out, please do. I have a link in the description box and in the pinned comment where you can get 50% off, and I don't know how they do it. There's a massive amount of value in these pages, and I know that you'll enjoy it. Okie dokie. Here's our project. So I only have enough space in my small growing space in my house to really light about 3 trays at one time. What I like to do with my seedlings, if I want to start even more seeds than that, I can get away with starting 6 full 10-20 trays. Ugh, these big guys right here. 6 full 10-20 trays if I rotate my seedlings time under the light. So I can have 3 under the light for 12 hours, and I've got the other 3 trays in my bedroom with, you know, the window shut and things, so there's no light in there. And then at night I'll switch them around so that the ones that were in the dark during the day have the light at night, and just keep switching back and forth. And that has been working very well for me for a long time. So if you feel like you don't have enough space to start your seeds, think about stuff like that, because you might have more space and you realize you just have to figure out how to use it well. Now, I didn't put any planting tags in here. I know what's here though. This here is the hybrid broccoli that we're currently growing in the greenhouse right now. It has done very well for us. So we've got 32 plants, really great germination. We've been very happy with this. This is a purple of Sicily cauliflower, which honestly, it has more of a broccoli type texture. We have grown that a lot in the past, and I really like that. So I have 16 of those plants. And then this is a red acre cabbage. I've got a lot of green cabbage growing in the greenhouse right now, but red cabbage, it genuinely has a different bite to it. We really, really like it, and so I'm excited to have some of those going as well. And I need to thin out my celery. I had at least one person a little bit concerned that when I took the humidity dome off of these, that the celery wouldn't germinate super well. Thankfully, they did. I didn't have a fan or anything on these. The celery was surface sown, and they did well. So we need to thin these out so they can grow well. My bunching onions that I planted, this was older seed, and I have heard that onion seed can tend to lose its germination rate pretty quickly, so I really didn't get that much germination. I think I am going to try again though, or I am interested in buying sets. So what I have in here is that Bar Harbor blend potting mix with some rabbit manure for the seedlings. I like the potting mix that I've been using, but I feel like it does need just a little bit of a boost. Rabbits are gardener's best friend. We do a meat rabbit operation here, but even if you didn't want to do that, I think that every gardener should have a pet rabbit just for the manure. It's pretty simple what I'm gonna do. Just gonna pack my mix here in my little pot, poke my thumbs down in. These little seedling pots have this hole in the bottom. Just poke your pinky up in there. Can you see? Tease the seedling right out, and it's really gonna like this bigger spot. One down, a million more to go. As we've talked about, it is quite cold outside, and I wanted to let you guys know that sometimes if you have a seedling that's in a warm environment and you put its roots directly into super cold soil, that can shock it and affect the way that the transplant withstands that kind of handling. It can be a shock. So what I did was put this mix together and actually had it outside in our climate controlled shed. So the soil is a little bit cooler than our house temperature, but not by much. Broccoli all done. Do you ever wonder why they call gardeners green thumbs? Because I know that black thumb is supposed to mean that you're not good at gardening, but I mean, look at that. I'm just saying, I don't think that it's accurate. There we go. That looks a lot better. Well, the snow is here, which is exciting. It's about midday on Friday at this point, and we're supposed to get snow all day, like into the evening time. It's not supposed to stop until about 8 p.m. It's not falling super heavily. There's, 3 inches maybe settled. I've been inside watching the snow settle on the greenhouse. This is the first year that we've left the shade cloth on the greenhouse during the winter, and that provides enough texture for the snow to really stick instead of slough off. But I think it's gonna be okay. I don't think it's gonna be a lot of weight necessarily. It's at least well distributed. It looks so dark in there though. That's so funny. It's like the coolest clubhouse ever. It reminds me a little bit of when we used to make snow forts as kids and crawl in them. I mean, where I lived in Maine, the snowbanks were quite large at times, and you could make some pretty impressive complexes. I don't see my breath in here. That's weird. I wonder how warm it is. Oh, it's nearly 40 in here. That's pretty impressive. Snow is quite insulating. It's so weird to see the plants in this light. I never did come out and harvest any of the heads of broccoli or cauliflower before the teens the other night. They look like they're holding up well. One of the reasons that I didn't was because the sun was actually out, when we packed the pumpkin into the freeze dryer. And when it's a good sunny day out, the greenhouse does collect quite a bit of heat that it can hang on to pretty well overnight. It just depends on a lot of factors, to include how much wind we're getting. But I also kind of wanted to test my limits a little bit. This is probably only the second time I've had successful brassicas going into winter, and I couldn't recall how cold my brassicas had handled before, and so by testing it out, I know how much babying the plants are going to need versus how much is just unnecessary. So it's just good information for me to know. These goats have spread their pumpkin far and wide. What are you guys doing out here? Hi. I fed you plenty of hay in the house yesterday. Is Farrell being a bully? Is that why you guys are out here? These goats do have access to a couple different buck houses. This is one, and probably, I'm slipping. Probably Farrell is in the other one where a lot of the hay is. This has been their favorite spot to come eat grass, and they're eating it through the snow. Oh, you're a little bit wet. I don't like that. See, this isn't even that frozen. The high today was supposed to be 33, so above freezing. The snow is going to accumulate some, but it's really not going to stick for long, and it's not really accumulating on the goats. Sometimes that can mean that they're not well insulated. Do you not grow cashmere? But see, I came to free up their water, and it's basically freed up all on its own. Shall we go check on Farrell? See how he's doing? Hey, Chloe. You look like you've been in bed. Well, hey, sir. Were you bullying the other boys out of the pen? I guess they just wanted some grass, huh? Hi. Oh, you are so handsome. They're still stinky. Guess the rut is just getting ready to close, huh? You guys look good. It's like barely frozen. There you go. Hey, Lightning. Oh, you're looking so round. You're so cute. Oh, you're still good at that, huh? Come on, let's go. Lightning matches the outdoors. Come here. You staying warm in here? Got lots of hay. The kids have been rolling around giant snowballs. Hi, handsome. Where were you? You've been loving it, huh? Yeah. It might be a little bit hard to tell how big this baby is next to Jumper. I'll have to put on the screen exactly how old her kits are, but I've been really impressed with their growth rate considering that they are like hybrids. I love this one. It's got a little white snip on her nose. So cute. Are you a little girl or a little boy? I don't know. I could check. Super cute either way. I don't plan to keep any of those as far as breeders. So how's it going in here? Y'all good and toasty? It's not too bad out, huh? You just don't want to get your feet wet. That's all. A lot of these girls are less than a month away from kidding. We have 8 does due the first week of February, and then the other 2 are due March 1st. It's gonna be kind of insane all at once, but I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of them are first fresheners. Fury and Shindy and Tizzy. Alara, she's gonna be our first freshener. Breezy, this will be her second freshen. This will be Elsa's third freshen, Talia's third freshen, and Elpas's third freshen. Clover's second freshen. Huh. How you doing, Winnie girl? Oof. Are you staying warm? Nice and warm. And I think we forgot Tori. It'll be Tori's first freshen. Hello. Are you guys cozy? You look cozy. These are the eggs that I got today. They're a little bit dirty because the chickens' feet are a little bit muddy because it's just barely above freezing right now. Yeah, that's not a bad haul for winter. You guys going to bed early? Well, all right. For anybody curious, this took 50 hours to complete. I didn't pre-freeze the pumpkin, as you saw, but it's done. It finished at some point yesterday, I think. I do have some pumpkin that's in glass jars already. When the fresh pumpkin is no more, that is the pumpkin I will reach for first. I have a little bit of that, and so I'd like to put this pumpkin in some Mylar just so this can last longer should it need to. Because this is already roasted and mashed, really the hope that I have for this is for it to act like, you know, those instant mashed potatoes, except for it's pumpkin instead of mashed potatoes. Pumpkin is so good with butter and some herbs. It's so amazing. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should. But go for something like a pie pumpkin, like a sweet pumpkin. Your regular old jack-o'-lantern or decorative type gourd or pumpkin may not be that tasty. It came off the tray in one sheet. The hope is to get about 2.5 trays worth of pumpkin in one bag, and that would be one meal, because that would be half a pumpkin, which is about what we eat when I make the mashed pumpkin. The sweet flavor of the mashed pumpkin, it really is well balanced with the butter, but it also goes great with rich meats like goat or like pig, but especially pork. It's really good with pork, like sausage. So crumbled sausage on top of the mashed and buttered pumpkin. Oh my goodness, I might have to make that tomorrow. Not with this, I'll save this and I'll cook up a fresh pumpkin. Because we put the pumpkin away as is, just roasted pumpkin and no spices or butter or anything in it, this is gonna be versatile for a lot of different things. I could probably make even like a pumpkin spice latte with it by just stirring this into the coffee with some spices, obviously. Or as a base to like a pumpkin soup. This could be a base to a pumpkin pie. Really, any possibility with roasted pureed pumpkin. It's totally a possibility with the freeze-dried pumpkin. You just add as much water as you need for the consistency that's required. Got a pack of oxygen absorbers here. Put one per bag. I've had people ask me before if the oxygen absorbers kind of suck in the air of the bag, kind of like a vacuum sealer would do. They're not like that exactly, but it does. Right now there is some air in here, but I've got some tomatoes that I freeze-dried and packed up actually 2 years ago, 2023 tomatoes. And these guys, you can kind of see how it's like sucked in. Yeah, I've actually got quite a bit of these up here. I'm pretty not great, to be honest, about knowing exactly what is in my pantry. It is one of the goals that I have for this year, to really take inventory and keep track of that well so that I can utilize my harvest well throughout the years. I did have a pretty crappy tomato year last year, and I thought that I had used all my 2023 tomato products. But I haven't. I've got some in here. So I can pull those out and make things with them to make up for the crappy year we had last year, which is really what this is all about. So anyways, Levi, I think he's done sweeping off what is currently the roof of the barn before we're actually going to put the metal and condensation layer on the barn tomorrow. I will be filming that. That's gonna go up for you guys Wednesday. So until then, stay warm or cool if you're in the southern hemisphere. I'll see you guys again soon.